What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about 10 ways to improve Madden Ultimate Team for Madden 19. Ways to make the game mode better, fun for everybody, and to keep people playing longer into the year, because we do know this year that it seems like less and less people are playing this year than in years past. So what can we do for the game mode that is the most interactive, that does keep people playing the longest? What can we do to make the game mode much better next year, much more enjoyable? Maybe bringing some things back that should have never left, and adding some new things in that should have been added. So I'm just right now actually playing through some of the Easter solos, so I'm not playing against a person or anything like that, just trying to knock out some of these solos. And so we're just gonna go through my list of what I think we could do to make MUT better for next year. So number one on the list for me, one of the biggest things is less NAT cards. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what NAT cards are, it's basically cards that are non-auctionable, non-tradable. Basically, you get the card, you either have to use it or you're stuck with it. You can't really do anything with it. And most of those cards you obtain through solos. And I think we don't need to do away with NAT cards altogether, but we need to make it less of a thing. So if I earn any type of card through playing solos, I should be able to auction that card off. Just flat out, I should be able to auction that card off, because there's a lot of cases, especially later in the year, where you're getting cards in by doing your solos, but they're cards that at that point in the game might be obsolete, or you already have a good enough team to where that card's not going to help you. So let that person sell that card off and get something for it. Now, when you're like in the early stages of the game, the first couple months of the game, NAT cards aren't as bad of a thing. If you want to do NAT cards, I would say maybe do them the first couple months of the game. That maybe makes a little more sense, because most cards that you would earn through solos or any type of free card the first month of the game, more than likely, if you're not someone that's just dumping a ton of money into the game, those cards will have a place on your team somewhere. Even if it's in a backup spot, you can put them somewhere and maybe get some use out of them. But you get later in the year and you start doing some of these solos, and you might sit there for 3 hours to complete the whole round of solos, and then you get a free card, which is awesome. You get a free it could be a 93 overall, whatever. It's a really good card. But at that point of the year, if your team's already good, you don't need that card anymore. Like, let people go ahead and sell that card off. It's just, you put the time in to do these solos and things of that nature. Let people actually get the full reward out of it. Yes, you still get coins for doing solos, but the card that you get back, it's still a good card that has value, but maybe it doesn't have value on your team. Maybe it doesn't fit the way you play. Maybe you get a fast quarterback, but you don't like to scramble. You want a good pocket passer, so you can't do nothing with him. Maybe you play a lot of zone and you get a really good man corner, but you don't play man, so you don't want that card. Or maybe the chemistry on that card doesn't fit the way you have your chemistry set up on your team. Let the person sell that card off, or at least trade it to a friend. Maybe you have a friend that could use that card, and he has a card that you can use. Let there be a way to get some value for that card. So make less NAT cards. Now, obviously, like the free cards that EA just gives you every week for logging in, those can be NAT. That's fine, because you didn't do anything to earn that. But if you earn it through a solo or anything like that, you should be able to auction the card off and trade it. I think that just makes the most sense. Number two, I want to talk about power-ups. Now, there's the community is very split on power-ups. Some people love them, some people hate them. Personally, I really like power-ups. I like the idea of I can, invest a little bit more into a card. I can power him up, and I can get, extra chemistries on that card, or, I can get, I can get a faster version of the card, or a version of the card that plays better in zone, or, just stuff like that. But I think the problem with power-ups is, like, you need a way to get some kind of value back for it. You shouldn't just be stuck with it for the whole year. Like, okay, you powered it up, so now you have to either keep powering it up, or you're just out of luck. Because in the state of what MUT is, cards become obsolete just so quickly in this game. A card that's out now in a month or in 6 weeks at best, I mean, that's it. It's done. It's just, they lose their value so quickly. You should be able to get some type of quick sell value for a power up. Like, and I feel like there's a way that EA can kind of monitor, what's fair value for that card. So let's say, you put 500,000 coins into a card to get them powered up. They should be able to look at that and say, like, okay, at this point of the year, if, they if somebody wants to quick sell this card and get some value for it, let's give them 75,000 coins or 100,000 coins. Sure, you're not getting near what you invested in it, but at least you're getting something back. At least you're not just like, well, I either have to keep powering them up further or I'm just stuck with them. And then you have some cards that go months without getting, you know, another level to their power up, so they're even more obsolete. It's not even that you maybe don't want to use the card, but they just haven't gotten any updated cards in a while, and their last update was 3 months ago, and that card is completely obsolete, and you're like, well, I just want to get out from under this card, get some coins, and go invest it back, you know, into a better card. You know, give me 75,000, 100,000 coins that I can go and, you know, help put towards a better card that I can use. So I think keep power-ups. They're fun. I like them. I know a lot of people like them, but just have a way to get out from under them. Have a way to get some type of a decent quick sell value to make a little bit of your initial investment back, and I think that would go a long way. So next on the list is this is something that really bugs me and it bugs a lot of people, and that's full game solos. Now, full game solos are fine for the people that, you know, there's a lot of people that play Ultimate Team and they just like to grind and build a team. They don't really like to play online head-to-head, and they like playing the full game solos because for them, that's how they play games. They don't want to go play online because maybe they don't want to get matched up with overpowered teams or play people that they consider cheesy or whatever the case may be. So full game solos are fine in that sense, but, you know, you should have, you know, a string of full game solos that people can play and earn coins for. But when you're putting out new promos, full game solos are the most annoying thing to people that just want to grind the solos to get the rewards. They just want the coins, or usually it's you get a free card. Like they did it for Team of the Year. I believe they did it for the Super Bowl. Like you had to play, you know, however many 12 or 16 full games and you got a free, you know, 95 overall, 96 overall card. So of course, anybody's going to look at that and say, yeah, I'll grind to get that free card. But nobody wants to play full game solos. It's so draining. It drags on. It's not fun. You know, you're pretty much just running the same play over and over with, you know, chew clock on and try to run the clock down. Nobody wants to do it. So I would say, like, I like doing solos. Solos can be fun, but no more full game solos when it comes to promos. Now, like I said, if you just want to play a full game solo because that's just what you want to do, and that's a, you know, have that available to people that want to do it. But when you put promos out, like for instance this Easter promo, it doesn't appear that there's any full game solos in this promo. They're just like, they're little challenges, you know, get 50 yards and a touchdown, you know, get a touchdown in 4 plays. Those type of solos are fun. It's like, hey, it's a little bit of a challenge, like, you know, do this, you only got a minute, yada yada yada, and then you get your rewards. And you know I'll play 20 of those, but if you tell me I gotta play 10 full game solos, I'm just like, wow, there goes the next 3 hours of my life. It's just gonna be boring and draining and just not fun whatsoever. Computer's gonna be calling timeouts even though they have no shot to win the game, just slowing the game down. Just take that out of the game, because honestly all it does is just, it makes the people that are just trying to grind for rewards, it just makes them annoyed. It's all it's doing. I mean, I understand. I don't think that's EA's purpose is, oh, let's annoy the customer. But I'm just saying that's what you do when you make people have to play full game solos to get rewards. It's just annoying. Like, the game's already expensive enough to compete. You know, don't make us have to play full game solos just to get good rewards. So number 4 is going to be about MUT Draft. We need to bring back unranked MUT Draft. And I say that because you're turning casual players off by taking that out of the game, because a lot of casual players, again, they liked playing when it was draft champions before this year. They liked playing unranked draft champions where they didn't have to put any money in. They can just go keep drafting a team, play a few games, and then that's how casual players like to play. Don't, you know, alienate the casual player. Bring back unranked drafts, because if you want to play MUT Draft this year, you have to pay. You have to have tickets. And so if you're not like a really good player and keep earning tickets, you have to keep buying tickets to play. That's why MUT Draft is dead this year. MUT Draft, you know, in Draft Champions, whatever you want to call it, is a fun mode. It's fun to draft and go, you know, play with different playbooks, different players, and it's like an even playing field. It's a fun mode, but it's dead this year because one of the reasons is you've eliminated unranked draft. People don't want to pay to play MUT Draft. You know, you shouldn't have to. Number 5 on the list also deals with MUT Draft. This is another reason it's dead. Bring back Tuesday night drafts. This was something they did last year. It was Tuesday night drafts. I think at one point it was Friday night drafts, and basically that night of the week the drafts were more juiced. You can draft higher overall teams, and there were also like limited cards for that night that you could actually win and earn and use on your ultimate team. It would be like a really souped up, you know, limited card for that night only. Not sure why EA took that out of the game. I'm sure there's a reason, but I would say bring that back, because again, You add more fun to the MUT draft or draft champions mode, whatever you want to call it. You add more fun to it. You actually force people that play Ultimate Team to go over to MUT draft and say, well, I'm going to play on this night because I have a chance to get these really good souped up cards that I can add to my MUT team. It just seems like a no-brainer. It keeps the mode fresh. It also keeps somewhat new content coming into MUT, but it's something you have to go work for. It's not a card that just anybody can get. So I mean, it just makes sense. Bring back Tuesday night draft or Friday night draft, whatever night you want to have it on. That was just a fun thing. Everybody couldn't wait for that night to get on it and play that draft. So I mean, just bring it back. It just makes sense. So the next thing, number 6 on my list, might be a little more complicated. Maybe it won't happen this year, probably won't, but I mean, something to think of the future at least, is customization in MUT. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that MUT is missing, is customization. I mean, the mode is pretty much built on customization in a sense, where you're putting together your ultimate team. You're putting together a team of your favorite players, of the players that have the stats that you want. You know, if you're a pass-heavy guy, you're souping up your wide receivers. If you're a run-heavy guy, you're souping up your O-line and your running backs. You know, the chemistries. If you value certain things on defense, like zone defense, you're gonna, you know, have read and react chemistry. If you value, you know, running on offense, you're gonna, you know, have a lot of pound the rock chemistry, things like that. So it's already a customizable mode in itself. Why not take it further and really fully make it customizable? I'm talking customizable uniforms. I mean, who wouldn't want to get on MUT? You already have your ultimate team, your perfect team, your players, yada yada. Why wouldn't you want your own custom uniforms that nobody else has? And then they know when somebody runs into you, they just know off your uniforms alone, like, oh, that's that guy. Why not have that? Customizable stadiums. Why can't you customize the stadium that you play in? Again, it's your team. You want your uniforms. You want your custom stadium laid out the way you want. Potentially custom celebrations when you score touchdowns. That might be a little more difficult. That might be asking a little too much. I know, you know, there's only so much memory on the game, so that might be something that's a little bit going too far, and I understand, but just throwing ideas out there. Customizable playbooks as well. You have custom playbooks and regs. Why not bring it to MUT? Maybe customizable playbooks in MUT might be a little too overpowered, because, I mean, you already have overpowered teams. Maybe having custom playbooks would be too much, but again, I mean, if we're trying to make things as customizable as possible, as true to the, you know, user experience as possible, those things matter. So number 6, just overall customization in MUT. Number 7 is a really big thing, and this is probably one of the biggest complaints you get when you talk about MUT, and it's the matchmaking. So basically, obviously, most of y'all know, you play MUT, you get matched up with teams that are just ranked way ahead of you. You know, especially earlier on in the year, when, you know, the people that spend the most money, you know, quickly have an advantage. You know, it could be early in the year, and, you know, you might be at 82 overall and you're getting matched up with 90 overalls, and it's just not a fun experience. So the matchmaking needs work. I know EA knows that. Matchmaking should go more on overall and less by, like, what tier you're in. So, you know, someone could be in the all-pro tier, and, you know, somebody could be in the all-Madden tier, but if y'all have similar overalls, I think that should still kind of outweigh the tier. Now, I mean, obviously, you don't want somebody in the all-Madden tier being matched up with someone that's, you know, rookie first string or whatever. You know, there has to be a balance of both, but I think the team overall aspect is just one of those things that is just not, it's not taken enough into consideration. You know, no one that's 80 overall should be playing against people that are 90 overalls. It just shouldn't be happening, and that's something they need to work to fix, because that would make it more enjoyable. There's so many people that don't fully invest into MUT because they get on, they're like, alright, I'm just starting my team out, I got some decent players, you know, I'm gonna try my hand at it, try to earn more players, but they get online, they play a couple games, and it's like they're just getting blown out because they have no shot to compete, and then they just don't come back to MUT, and they say, I hate MUT, and then they just go to reg. So, you know, take team overall more into consideration. It only makes sense. It would be more enjoyable for everybody that plays the game. Number 8, a MUT practice mode. I mean, we've been asking for that forever. I'm still not sure why we don't have that. It only seems right to have MUT practice mode, because you want to practice with your MUT team, with the guys, with the chemistries enabled, because when you go to, you know, offline regular practice mode with regs teams, you can't truly get the full experience of what it's going to be like when you go into MUT, because your team is completely different and the teams you're going against are completely different. So we need a practice mode in MUT. I mean, I feel like that's simple enough to add. I don't feel like that's asking for too much. That should be something that's easy to add. Number 9, this is kind of just like a little extra, like, I guess, cosmetic thing, but I think it would be very interesting and I think people would like it, and that's tracking the stats on your MUT cards. So, I mean, obviously MUT, they track your record throughout the year, but why not track the stats on your cards? You know, I want to know how many yards I've rushed with Michael Vick this year. I want to know how many yards he's passed for. I want to know how many touchdowns I've caught with Ted Ginn, how many yards he's got, how many yards I've run with Derrick Henry here. You know, all of those things. Why not track that? That would be just fun to look at. I mean, it's not a game-changing thing by any means, but sometimes those little cosmetic things, you know, they just make the game mode just a little bit more enjoyable. So why not? And now number 10. This is just another simple thing that, I mean, I don't know why we don't have it this year, but play a friend MUT squads. I mean, if you could play a friend in MUT squads, that mode would be a lot more active. It'd be a lot more fun. You know, you could you and your 3 friends team up against 3 other guys. Why not? Why is that not in the game? If they plan to keep MUT drafts a thing, or excuse me, MUT squads a thing, and want it to grow and be bigger, I mean, you have to add that in. That's a no-brainer, and I think they know that. I'm sure we'll get that, but as of now, we don't have it. And just an honorable mention here. I'm going to go 11. I said I was going to go 10, but just as an honorable mention here, we got to remove, like, the ridiculous chemistries. Chemistries in general is fine. You know, the playmaker chemistry, that's cool. Gunslinger chemistry, that's cool. Like, there are chemistries in the game that are cool, but some of these chemistries are just a little ridiculous. You know, like the footsteps chemistry or whatever. Like, okay, if somebody's close to your wide receiver, he's going to drop the ball if he has that chemistry because he hears footsteps. Or like the new, you know, Lawrence Taylor, where, you know, I guess he blocks sheds off of like impact blockers easy or something like that. Like, there's just certain chemistries that are just over the top. Or like the one that Khalil Mack has, where he can force your quarterback to throw a bad pass if he gets close to you, just because he's a good pass rusher, because even if he doesn't hit you, if he's just closer to you, he can force your quarterback to throw a bad pass. Like, those type of chemistries got to go. You know, playmaker, gunslinger, things like that are perfectly fine. And take the identifier chemistry out of the game. Like, we should be able to see who's usering on defense regardless of that chemistry. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to see who your opponent's using on defense. That's just goofy. So that's my list. What do you guys think? Do you have anything to add that you think is crucial and important to add to next year? Definitely drop them in the comments below. Do you agree with the things I said? Do you disagree? I want to hear, you know, all opinions, so let me know below. And as always, I will see you guys next time.